Hey, so welcome back, and this is another daily LeetCode problem. So today it was called, let's see here, sign of the product of an array, and I just did this one a minute ago. So it's an easy level problem, and we're going to solve this in O of n time and O of 1 space complexity. So basically, you just want to implement this function. It's a sign func, but they call it array sign, which is interesting. But basically all that you want to do is you're given a list of numbers and you want to determine like the product of them, and that's just if you multiply them all by each other. So -1 times -2 times -3 and so forth. And so all that you want to return is whether or not it's positive, negative, or equal to 0. And that's about it. So it's quite simple, and I think writing out the algorithm is pretty self-explanatory. So all that you want to do is iterate through every single one of these numbers, and there's two cases that you want to consider. And naturally we want to hold our response just in a variable here, and we're going to want to return this response at the end, and let's just initially set it to positive. And so as you're going through here, it's initially saying, okay, the product will be positive. And so when you multiply negative, that means that, okay, now you're getting a negative. But if you multiply a negative by positive, it's still a negative. And so whenever you encounter a positive, it's kind of redundant. It doesn't really do anything. And so let's just start with positive. The other case here that we want to consider is, okay, if we encounter a 0, it's actually a trick where you can actually just stop, evaluating this any further, because once you get to a 0, the product, it becomes 0, and whether it's positive or a negative number, no matter how big the number is, it'll just remain at 0, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. And so we can say, okay, if our number is 0, then let's just immediately return 0. Okay, and so that's the first case, and it's quite simple. So once you encounter that 0, you say, okay, no matter what we see here, we're always going to return 0, so let's just stop there and return 0. And then otherwise, okay, we want to consider when we encounter negative, all that does is if the current running number is positive, it becomes negative, and if it's currently negative, it becomes positive. So it inverts the running sign. So maybe this is a better word for it. So instead of response, just say like the sign that you're currently at. Sign, and this would return 0, sorry. And so otherwise, if the number is less than 0, then we know it's a negative number, and we just want to invert that sign. And you can just multiply it by -1 to invert it. Let's go ahead and run that, and let's try submitting it. Great, and that's today's LeetCode problem. So once again, it's O of n time complexity, because you have to iterate through every number in the input array, and it's O of 1 space because, well, we're not using any extra data structure except for that's provided to us. So yeah, I hope that helped, and good luck with the rest of your algorithms. Thanks for watching.